Hallo liebe Hörer, willkommen zu einer neuen Podcast-Folge von den Caramels. Diese Folge wurde am 29. Januar 2019 aufgenommen. Heute sprechen wir über die Ferien, schon wieder vorbei. Von Pretty Woman bis Wonder Woman, wer repräsentiert Frauen besser? Die Narrativ Hollywoods und wie wir alle bei ihnen immer noch Kind sind. Rafids Filmtest, musstest du weinen? Kritiker sein oder einfach nur genießen? Also, los geht's!
That's that fresh morning coffee breath.
Oh yeah. Already adjusting the microphone is a good sign. Hey guys.
Hi there.
Hi.
So
Hiya.
we're back from the holidays. It's been a while.
It's been
Yes.
a while. It has been a while, yeah.
The days were holly though.
Mm-hmm.
I had a fun time back in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't miss you guys at all every day. Definitely did check our group chat every day.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
It was just
beer
fun.
and food.
It was good here as well. Not all the Christmas holidays are great in America necessarily.
True.
So I had a good time. I was in Hamburg. So
It's already January 29th.
it's February almost.
Oh my
and
God.
we're talking about Christmas.
Yeah. Burn Christmas down.
Yes.
Have you seen the Christmas trees in town, by the way?
Are there
There's-
still
there-
Christmas trees in town?
No, they line the dead bodies of Christmas trees past
Yeah.
along the
I see
circle trails
I
and
see them sometimes here and there. Also in gardens, just like lying on the floor. Just
indeed.
They
It's
just-
like what do you do when you have you have a bunch of suspects and you stand them in line and the
Line
person's
up.
like on the other side of the glass? I want this tree. It's gonna bless me the most. Something like that.
So true. I want to put that one in the electric chair.
yeah.
Your days are numbered.
So
pretty
before
much-
we move on,
But I'm
Yeah, who are we?
oh, we are the Caramels,
We're
of
the
course.
caramels. You
Yeah.
should know by now.
Welcome to the Caramels. We have
There is something I would like to address.
Go on.
Rafid.
Has
Yeah.
something to say.
Say something to address.
It's the segment we call Rafid has something to say by Pepsi. No.
Are you railroading?
No, it's
you
just that
railroading this
I was
right now?
listening to our last podcast, the
Yeah.
episode, and I said something wrong. I just want to retract that.
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
were talking about the
We
Amish.
said a lot of things wrong.
No, that doesn't count. We talked about the Amish folks. We know them very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned a film. It was called Witness 1985.
You did.
And I said that it stars Richard Gere. But in my head, it was always Harrison Ford. It is Harrison Ford. But even
Oh.
to this day, like when I think of Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
I would always use the name Richard Gere. I never say Harrison Ford. Because if you look at Harrison Ford's face...
Is Richard Gere from
Pretty Woman.
Yep, okay.
If you look at Harrison Ford's face, he has the face of someone whose name would be Richard Gere. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An older Harrison Ford has the face of someone who would be called Richard Gere. I wouldn't say Star Wars.
Yeah. So to make up for it,
Although he
if
was
you
like
were
35.
looking for films made by Richard Gere in the year 1985, he has a film. It's called King David. It's
Never
about
heard.
the life of the Israeli King David.
Oh.
Like
So-
way back, like
Yeah,
Solomon's pop.
1985. So.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's my retraction.
Okay, that's a nice addition. I think that's nice to update.
But
our-
don't expect us to like make up for our
listeners.
mistakes all episodes because we will say a lot of things.
Unless you're insulting the career of Richard Gere. In that
Richard
case,
Gere.
you will hear an instant apology on all social media
Sorry,
accounts.
Richard Gere.
How dare you?
We're just insignificant students, but sorry.
I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, the moment we walked out of the studio, in my head, I was like, okay, I said, I said something.
Is that your humble voice? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, I think I made a mistake.
That's your definition of inflammatory statement.
Yeah, that was blasphemy for me. I should know better.
So
But
you
it-
probably know Rafid at this point. To all our listeners, you've gotten a good idea in past broadcasts, but that is the center of
Yeah.
who the man is.
He is all over the place, but he will make up for it when it's too late.
Bibi, have you seen any Richard Gere movies?
Nope, I don't even know who it is.
Not even Pretty Woman. Julia.
Oh
Roberts.
yeah, I've seen Pretty Woman.
Well, the guy who bankrolls
Creepy
the whole
movie,
operation.
very creepy.
He's
movie.
making a good comeback. He's doing a lot of Jewish roles lately.
Wait, so Is it
No,
like the
really.
actor
Yeah.
or the director?
Actor.
Richard Gere is an actor. That will
So
never
he's
be
the
the
guy
name of a director.
in who
He's the rich guy who pays to have Julia
super
Roberts
creepy
come out.
movie.
Yeah.
Super creepy movie. I was so like I obviously had heard about Pretty Woman way before I saw it. And then I watched it because it was on Netflix. And I was like, let me watch a classic movie. Apparently, everyone knows about this.
Yeah.
And then I watched it just because of, general knowledge and let me watch Pretty Woman. But then I was
Relatability.
so creeped out by it. It was so weird.
When did you watch this?
Like, not too long ago.
Could it be that maybe, the world we live in right now had something to do with how you felt creeped out?
No, I think creeped out then is
Because
also
this was like
creeped out
1990
now.
or something. So
This
Yeah.
was the Cinderella of the
And-
90s.
girls loved Richard Gere and who was the other
Julia
lady?
Roberts, right?
Julia Roberts. Men loved her.
She,
Or both.
she's
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah. I think she's probably the first actress to be paid 20 million.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
I did not know that.
yeah, she made 20 million in a year or maybe per film. Something like that.
That's
Paved the
still
way for a lot of
doesn't take away that it was a
actresses. So
creepy
Bibi,
movie.
Have you
careful
seen
on who
Erin
you ship.
Brockovich?
No.
I think
Won the
that's what
Oscar
it's
for
called.
that. No,
Yeah.
she did not. She won for Pretty Woman.
Oh. But she was that was a range display as an actress. It was like, yeah, I can
I'm pretty sure she's a great actress.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the movie itself, the story,
yeah, definitely got some
Was
creepiness
creepy.
to it, and
That's
we
what I
overlook
mean.
that a lot.
and also like how focused it was on her just being so damn.
No, what you're
attractive.
saying is
It is
actually
true.
right because I think a few days ago I was like watching a documentary, like series of documentaries. So the episodes they talk about the form of storytelling in films. So I was looking at the romantic films, and they were going from like back in the old days how films were and how they are right now, and they're doing a quick comparison between I think Pretty Woman and how easily you could have finished the film. So I think at the end there were two choices that. Julia Roberts, she could have gone with her friend or something, but
Yeah,
she
but
chose
she
to go with
moved.
Richard Gere,
Yeah.
and they made a comparison that
Spoiler alert.
that
Yeah.
it's for the character, it's not really much of a win, personally, because you just go with the guy, and they were comparing it with Harry Met
Met
Sally,
Sally.
Harry Met Sally, yeah.
and all these other films, and I realized like comparisons they're relative because nowadays there's so many things, and so we think, oh, this is not good for the woman. She should have done this, or the guy should have done this, and all
Yeah.
that. So I think the way you feel right now, I have a feeling that maybe when you watched it before, you wouldn't feel that way. Because when I watched Pretty Woman, it was a long time ago. I was like too young to see it. But when I saw it, I really loved it. I was like, oh, it's a nice love story. You like a girl,
Yeah,
and she
but that's
likes you
the
back and
dangerous
all
side
that.
of it. That's with
But now
a
when
lot
I'm
of
grown up,
movies.
it's like, oh, okay, I can just pay for her. So I
But
guess
that's with
things
a lot
change.
of movies. Like female characters don't have that much depth in them anyways, and it's the win. The win is you get the guy.
Yes.
It's not you get rich and famous and you're doing great and you have great character. No, it's you get the guy, so you win. So, and it's very important to be pretty
I
as
mean,
well.
the opening scene of that movie is her, like, you literally don't see her face. They work up to her face. So the shots of the movie
Yeah.
are, like, her pulling up the stockings.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she's
For our viewers,
almost completely naked.
what's her profession in the film, Brian?
She is,
A lady of the night.
yeah, sure, Lady of the Night.
Yeah.
So I think
Lady in Red.
yes. So the
uh,
way she was presented was, I guess, how men would see her.
True, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so you're
It's-
doing
yeah,
like
it's a
You're doing a full body scan of the lady, and then you're showing her. And I think
Yeah.
Richard Gere pulls up to her. He's looking for an address or something.
so like
yeah, something.
yeah.
Yeah. Some,
they don't focus on how tough her day's been,
Yeah.
or how she couldn't sleep last night,
yeah.
or
How
But
our
also to make
financial
a-
troubles are really like.
exactly.
To make a fair point, as far as like women not getting fully fleshed out roles. I mean, you still had the
Was that another pun?
No.
You've been sending puns. Fully
Oh.
fleshed out roles. Come on.
fleshed out and like 3-dimensional and like roles with arcs are the same thing. I mean, if you guys are going there in your
He's
head,
been
well,
killing the pun
no
today.
No,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed out on a few then.
Yeah.
I do the silent puns that no one listens to. No, I meant like we should also remember like during that time or even before we still had like good roles for women. Like you think about all the roles like Meryl Streep had, Sally Field, and all these other actresses. It wasn't too bad. Even in comedies, like if you look at, and it's not, it's pretty. It's a hot topic right now. If you look at Woody Allen films, let's say.
Yeah.
women, they had nice roles. They weren't that bad.
I just meant we're talking just about Pretty Woman.
Yeah. But then
And that's we were saying why Bibi doesn't like it. You're right, in the whole scene of things.
Yeah.
Like maybe
but the
we
movie is
shouldn't
literally
be so
called
critical of the 90s.
Yeah, but then
sometimes.
the movie is called Pretty Woman. It's being about being attractive. It's about her just being like super super pretty. I just found it a seriously disturbing movie.
It's based on a book?
Really?
I have no
No,
idea.
I'm asking.
Oh.
I don't know.
Because I want to know if it was, then what the title was for the book.
I have no idea.
So it's wrong to just call it pretty.
Yeah,
Like, we
because I
should say,
think
like, Pretty Woman, but
no,
also
the
intelligent.
title fits the movie because the movie is exactly about that. It's about the pretty woman.
If you're pretty, you can get out anything.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with just being
And a rich
pretty.
dude
No,
will
it's
just
fine.
let you live in
Yeah.
his penthouse in this.
Isn't that Cinderella, right? You can even
it
however
kinda
matter
is.
you
It
can get
kinda
you can
is,
get
but-
rescued.
Yeah, way to go and ruin childhoods right now.
I don't know. Have you rewatched Cinderella lately?
You apparently have. So.
Yeah, that movie is
That's what he does
Oh,
on his
man.
free time.
those
Yeah, but-
stepsisters
Yo.
got it rough.
Wait, you watched the cartoon version?
Yeah.
There's only a cartoon version, right?
No, you have like
I
movie
there
I think
versions
there's
as well.
another. Yeah, there's. then
Is it
there's
like Cinderella Story? It's named that, like, and it's
the
on-
Cinderella story?
the story,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
A Cinderella Story or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that.
But yeah, you have movies as well.
I don't know, man. I just the cases. There's so little examples.
So what's the
Sleeping
present day?
Beauty.
No, I
Cinderella?
mean there's
Oh.
so many examples of that kind of stories, but there's not enough examples of having strong female characters. You can name them, but then the list ends somewhere for to what extent you know them. It's the same with people of color in strong character roles. You're like, oh, but we had Master of None, and we had this and we had that, and then eventually the list runs out, and then you're like, but that's all changed. But then like, yeah, but
Yeah,
is
you
that
know what? When we see Aziz Ansari, I'll let him know, okay, what you feel about him.
What?
Yeah, she said Master of None, right?
yeah, but that's like
You don't think that was
Oh.
well fleshed out? I thought that was a
no. That's examples of good
You're
kind
saying
of
there's not
enough?
contribution. No. That those examples are like good contributions to showing people of color in strong character roles, in centered roles, in having more, more stories to tell than, oh my God, I'm such a sad person. I'm
But
being
this is also
discriminated
just
all the
Hollywood,
time."
though, right? We have
Yes,
other film industries.
it is, but if that's the dominant narrative wherever you go, like even in Holland, even in Pakistan, doesn't matter where you go, Hollywood movies and the narratives are popular everywhere. It's not like only a Hollywood problem. If it's universal for in popularity, then it's everywhere, like everyone's problem.
Yeah, that's actually true. Like in mainstream, I guess, films,
Yeah.
not looking at people of color, like different backgrounds. It's just like the character themselves. Sometimes you see like if there's a woman playing a role, she's just some side role, like just to say way to go, or like you have
every
to go
movie.
save her or something. Really, no, nothing. That's just hers. And then the story.
Yeah, I mean, the stories are populated with tropes, right?
Yeah.
Like you can get the central story, which has worked commercially, and like if you look at it as a business, Hollywood's going to use the commercial main characters that are working, and then populate it with other like side characters that
Yeah.
fill in any kind of diversity requirements or story related setting requirements.
Yeah.
So
But that's the thing. That's just not. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys agree with that? Then it is a problem if you keep on showing people who are just as much part of society as constantly being side characters. Like,
And
Yeah.
then you see that when they get a role like this, when it's just, them, they're leading
take the
film.
center stage. Yeah. Then
Like, oh, okay, we're doing this for the Oscar or something like that. I want to live in a world where, you know the guy Danny Trejo?
no.
who is that?
Machete. Get your culture
Who's
on.
that?
That's
That guy. Yeah.
yeah. He does all these like B movies
Yeah.
and all that. So I want to like live in a world where women do films like that. So it should be so normal that it's boring. It shouldn't be like
That's actually the
Hallmark
point.
Channel?
Yeah. That's actually the point it should be at.
right.
Yeah.
So right now we're like, oh, way to go! You gotta film.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. It should be boring, is what it should be. that
Yeah.
it's just there and it's like normal. But I think it's going to take a while. And I think we are headed towards that direction though, right? Because nowadays, like if you, I think there is the thing like when when you're shooting a film, they even look at the crew. They see that if it's like all men or all women, and before it didn't it wasn't like this. But I think in the recent years we have these best cinematographer nominations for women. We didn't have that before, so now we have that. Then for directors as well. I mean, directors we had before, but not cinematographers. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And also like giving roles and not whitewashing them. There was this film by Cameron Crowe. He's the guy who made Vanilla Sky, 1990, with Tom Cruise, and he made this film Aloha, and the film it's not Aloha. I think it's based in Hawaii. The story.
Is that a comedy movie? Like
I think so. I didn't see it, and the role went to Emma Stone.
Yeah, I remember.
And the film,
she's like
it tanked at the box office.
It was so bad. I watched the first half of the movie.
So it
Bradley
was bad.
Cooper,
Yeah. I
Emma
remember
Stone,
that one.
and then there was
So
one more.
and this
love
was
interest.
2015. So people are aware of these things. People do rise up, and we have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
we're not gonna do
but
this.
it still keeps happening. I mean, it's not that long ago that what's her name?
But we're not taking huge steps back.
No.
Baby steps, but
You know
going
what I
forward.
mean, though? Have you seen those old like commercials from cartoons and shows from like the 50s?
Yeah, I see your point, but it's still like I wouldn't say, oh yeah, because I'm seeing all that change, I'm very, very optimistic about the future. That's what I'm trying to say.
True, I got you.
Because it's happening, because it's a trend, and there's more ways where people can take the initiative themselves if nobody's hiring them. So for example, what Aziz Ansari did, if nobody's writing the role for him, he'll just do it himself. He'll just do everything himself.
I think he's a bad example right now.
Yeah, I get you.
No, not looking at those things. It's just that not everyone can produce their own material. Some people are just good performers.
Some people are, exactly. If you don't have the leverage to do that yourself, or okay, I'll take a better example. Riz Ahmed. I love Riz Ahmed, but then he exclusively does roles. He's very careful with picking those roles, and also making sure that he picks roles where he is in a role which is representative of who he is as a person as well.
I think a good point you made was leverage, though, right?
Exactly. If you don't have an established name, if nobody knows you're not going to get there. And that's the problem with most of these people. Like, if you look at Black Panther, all those people were kind of established already in what they were doing. They were acknowledged actors, and people working on that project. If they come up with something like that, they can make it happen because they have the means to do that.
No, that's just the Marvel power, though.
Yeah,
of course.
The actor
of course,
Chadwick Boseman. I mean, he wasn't like the most popular guy ever.
Yeah, but still, he was not a nobody.
A nobody for a Marvel film.
Yeah, but isn't that all movies? Like,
yeah, but still.
Nowadays, you can cast anyone in a Marvel film. You don't have to be a star because the universe is the star.
Yeah, they have already created the format for anything. So they could make a movie that's the most progressive kind of idealistic future of what the world should look like. And I don't think people would meet it with open arms. Most of them would be like, they're trying too hard. And you would always come back to, this is Disney. This is the corporation.
Yeah.
This is Hollywood.
How do we explain about like Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah.
So that was a big film.
That was based on a book.
Yeah.
Based on a book.
Yeah.
But this is a demographic we don't get to see in a bunch together in a film.
Yeah.
With leading roles.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when I see something like that, I'm very optimistic because I'm thinking Crazy Rich Bangladeshis. It's the next one in like 5 years. So that's where my mind's at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
you want to see it, go write it, and then
that's basically what the tagline is now. Like, and that's, I guess, the only reason why we are seeing representatives of so-called minority communities in the West, because if nobody's doing that, then you start doing it.
I would disagree and say it's literally only the producers, the directors, and the companies, like the film companies, who are actually going to decide whether or not a movie is going to be made. And they can decide whether they're going to take the next step or risk because they probably look at it as a financial risk.
Oh, directors have like no
definitely.
clout unless you're like those A-list directors. It's just, like studios
Yeah.
and a lot of like marketing and a lot of algorithms to see
You
if
can
you'll
make
sell or not.
maybe you make Sundance at the
Doesn't
best
mean
chance. That
doesn't
doesn't
mean shit.
matter
Yeah.
at all for any
But
kind of
that's-
international
I
release.
think I remember reading an article which was about how Marvel actually figured out that their movies do better because they have other people for other backgrounds as a representative in their movie. Because then you're looking at it in a completely different way. Then you're saying, yeah, but who's the public? If Hollywood made movies which are only based on stories which are going to be seen according to them by white people, white male people, mostly enjoying those movies, but then especially white people, then yeah, you're not going to have people of character. And
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, but then I guess, but that's something I read. I don't remember exactly, but that Marvel realized that whenever they made a movie which had more representation, it showed in the box office.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So it is a financial thing,
Yeah.
but then it works as well. So for them it works, but are other people willing to take those so-called risks if they've never tried that formula before?
But it's really not a risk. Oh, I see. So the risk, I mean, it's not much of a risk, really. Like,
Who are the movie with a movie? It's the same. Like, who are you telling the story to?
so
yeah.
one example of a risk, if we're sticking with the Marvel universe, Fantastic Four. So originally through Fox, and still through Fox, Marvel like sold the rights to Fantastic Four. So Fox made a movie back in, I don't know, the early 2000s. It had Jessica Alba as who's like Mexican descent, American Mexican descent, playing blonde-haired. Because originally Fantastic Four are all these like Caucasian Americans or whatever. And so it had all, like, not all white cast, but they did have Chris Evans, who it went on to play. And then they had two other actors, can't remember their name. The guy from The Shield, and then I can't remember he has a weird last name. Anyways, so that did okay.
We got her, then we got Rubber Hands, and
Thank
then
you, yeah.
we got Chris Evans, and then we
Human
got
Torch.
the guy from The Shield.
Yeah, The Thing.
Yeah.
So the movie was okay. So it didn't, as a movie it sucks, but it's a product of the 2000s, I guess. So then they made a second one, didn't do as good, and so Fox kind of like shelved it.
The last one was with Silver Surfer, right?
Yeah, the last one from that series. So then they redid the movies, like
Here he goes.
Go ahead.
2016
Yeah.
or 15.
Yeah, starring Brian. Go ahead.
Miles Teller.
Yeah.
So hot off of Whiplash, like so they got him for Mr. Fantastic, so the main lead, and then they ended up casting Michael B. Jordan
From Creed and also Black Panther.
also from Black
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bad
yeah.
guy from Black Panther.
Yeah.
So he was gonna play the Human Torch. So this was a huge like Twitter storm, firestorm, because they cast an African American dude to play a white actor.
Yeah.
So he's the character. So they completely threw apart the original source material, and the movie did so bad that they just went ahead and canned any further production on a Fantastic
let's just
Four
pretend
movie.
this didn't happen.
Almost as if pretending it never happened. Like no one counts it towards the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But that's also the internet attacking the film.
Yes, they can attack it, but the film was bad in itself. Maybe if it had done better. But as Fox, who goes by the numbers, they literally said, like, you know what? We tried this whole,
Is that actually
different
trying?
lineup.
Is that actually trying?
I think so, yeah. Because then they did Deadpool, which is an R-rated film. Not really anything to do with casting.
Yeah.
I mean, other than you put Ryan Reynolds in a movie, it might do pretty well.
Yeah. He is funny.
First R-rated superhero film. Did better than I think almost all of the other Disney Marvel movies
Yeah, I think it broke
in the
like
first week
many
or something.
records,
It was like huge.
It was crazy.
Boom! Let's make Deadpool 2. So
Not everyone's kind of comedy, but everyone appreciated it. Like
Yes.
it was different.
yes.
Yeah,
Also
but
a little
is-
romantic.
And a little fuck you to the system as
Yeah.
well.
Seriously.
I just want to say something because we are talking about like women and their roles in films. There's a lady. Her name is like Alison Bechtel or maybe Bechtel. I don't know. She's a cartoonist, and she has this test, and it's a very widely applied test. It's called.
I know that test.
Yeah, I might get the name wrong. It's
I've never
Bechdel or
heard
like
of this.
Bechtel test,
Yeah,
and
the
so you have
Bechdel
like 3
test.
rules that you have to check in a
Right.
script. So the first one is it has to have at least 2 women in it. I'm talking about films. 2 women in it who, and number 2, who talk to each other. Number 3, something besides a man. So if you apply these things, you pass the Bechdel test or Bechdel test.
Yeah.
And if you go online, you'll see a list of all these films which don't pass this test. Films that we may love a lot.
Yeah.
And
Is this a recent test?
1985.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
So we've been failing.
Wow.
So for people like who are very into this into is this movie a good representation
A
or
good starting point would
good
be
starting point for female characters, then these 3 rules are applied, and like it's disappointing how many movies fail then, because mostly it's either one woman. If there's 2, then they don't talk to each other because they're in different places,
Yeah.
and then when they talk, it's always about a romantic interest.
Sure.
So
Should I name some films? But the list is like 2. I'll just name the films, but the explanation you can look it up on
Yeah.
your own. So it starts with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Then you have Slumdog Millionaire. You have
What?
yeah.
You have Moonlight, won Best Picture. You have La La Land. You have these are like recent ones, and then an old one, the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Exactly.
Toy Story 1 and 2, The Avengers, Lara Croft's Tomb Raider starring
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie,
Yeah.
Avatar, and the last one, Finding Nemo. Listen,
Poor Dory.
here's the thing. If a movie doesn't pass the Bechdel test or Bechdel test and your movie is Finding Nemo, don't hate on Finding Nemo. That one should
Finding
get a pass.
Nemo is
Yeah, it
still
makes you
a
cry.
movie.
Okay, if a movie makes you cry, it's fine. That's my rule.
Okay.
The Rafid test.
The
Yeah.
Rafid
Did
test
it make you cry? Boom.
sucks.
Pass.
Yeah.
It made me cry. It was so bad. Still passes.
Yeah.
Pass the test. I think at the end of the day, I mean, I know there's like you have to find a way to avoid the financial end of it, but
Yeah, but
you
I
can't.
mean,
You really even anywhere like here in Germany, like they're still just gonna submit to Hollywood because I know there's like German films and there's
Yeah.
a rich German history
yeah.
of filmmaking. Can't think of all the directors and
I
movies,
have
but people.
no idea what
They study
what
it.
Would be. Yeah.
But at the same time, the industry here is like
Yeah,
dubbing,
one of
dubbing,
the
Yeah,
like the
dubbing,
dubbing
everything,
industry here.
dubbing industry, and also
Depends.
one of the leading directors of all time, but now shunned, was during Nazi times, and she would do
Oh,
these
yeah.
propaganda films.
Yes,
And I mean, if you can appreciate the craft that's on screen, just don't look at the death and other stuff. But it's like good filmmaking though. But now no one talks about it.
yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
There's
Oh.
that point.
How can we not remember Wonder Woman? That was massive. That movie. That's like one
Yeah,
of
dude.
the first movies with a just like one
This is a good
superhero
topic.
who was a woman.
Too bad Brett ran there.
I have to
No,
say
he got replaced.
He was the first. He was director of one though. He directed Wonder Woman, right?
This
He wasn't replaced during the filming of the most.
Wonder Woman was not directed by Brett Ratner. It was
Ah.
directed by a woman. She made the film
Was he
for which
producer?
Cameron yeah, that South African chick, she won the Oscar, the tall one.
No idea.
nope.
Lupe. I don't know her name.
Is she from South Africa?
Brian has a friend called Lupe, so he can say that.
Lupita.
Lupita.
Lupita Nyong'o is not
Nyong'o.
from there.
Yeah, but
crap.
that's what I was thinking.
I'll look at
I
it.
was just thinking of who
I'll
won.
look
the
yeah,
Oscar.
but Lupita knew. Yeah.
Boom. Been saying boom a lot.
No, Brett Ratner, he got caught in the whole.
I did. He
Yeah.
got me too.
But this
He
this
got me
film
too.
was directed.
Verb now.
Okay,
Sure.
you guys talk. I'll find who directed.
All
this
right.
film.
While he searches for
Yeah.
the rat. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, it was such a big movie, and I remember reading one of the tweets of someone
Yeah.
and it was like, it was something along the lines of, now I know how guys feel after watching a superhero movie. I feel fucking strong, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just about the emotion when you walk out of a cinema, how that movie made you feel, let alone the story in itself. But if you see yourself in on the big
True.
screen, that's what it's about. And you know, like when many people like me, they just don't have that during their childhood. You just don't see someone who looks like you. And
Yeah.
I guess if you're very aware of it, when you grow up, you see and you recognize that, and you can see that, like
Definitely.
how you internalize that you're not represented. You always feel that you're the side character to life.
Yeah, dude. Same here.
Right? So it's
That's
dangerous.
like all us caramels.
It's that's the thing. Like you never feel like you're allowed to be that one dominant center stage character in life, because you just
Yeah, dude, no,
you can be a
that's-
confident person, but still there's something about that confidence which doesn't let you exceed those limits,
Yeah,
because
there's a vacancy when you see
because
someone
CEOs
else.
don't look like you. Strong women don't appear like that. They're secretaries. They're
That's not
their
what. But this is
girlfriends.
not
So
the point about the money I was making. Is
Exact-
it's not it's
Exactly.
it's not them saying
that
I'm-
women can't be that.
yes.
But
It can't be
yeah.
a woman.
Wait, I'll just
It's completely
Yeah.
reinforced by.
yeah,
because boys will be boys.
All right,
fuck
so
that statement.
back to
No, we'll get back to that one.
Boys
So
will be
yeah,
boys,
Wonder
will be
Woman was
boys.
directed by not Brett Ratner. It was Patty Jenkins.
sorry.
And
He produced it.
No.
Damn.
I'm not gonna look
Really?
up if he produced it. Okay, if he
pretty
did,
sure he was the executive
shame on you
producer.
and use that money, because you'll never get a job after this. Patty Jenkins directed the film. She also made Monster, 2003, with Charlize Theron, one of
Yep.
the best actors. Boom! I just finished that loop.
Monster?
And yeah, Monster. It's about
Oh, South African actress.
yeah, Monster. It's a film. I think it's based on a real character. This lady who killed a guy or something, and you can see the interviews online of this
True crime story.
Yeah, like her
Oh,
before
I love true
execution.
crime
Yeah.
stories.
Oh god, that was
But it's very like victim empathy driven movie, like trying to explain why she did what she did.
Like there's so many movies.
Yeah, like Ted
that.
Bundy coming out.
I feel
Yeah.
bad. I derailed you guys. You guys were talking about something
You
important.
did.
Yeah. I just had to get this out because we have to get our
We were
facts
just
right.
talking about how indirectly a movie contributes to how you feel in society. That if you're a side character in a movie, and you see that for years and years and years, especially during the years where you actually start seeing who you are as a person, maybe your teenage years, maybe even as a kid, like you grow into a person, and everything contributes to that. It's your education, it's your private life at home, it's your friends, family, it's how you travel, if you travel during those years, and also what you watch, all that content that you keep absorbing. And that's what I mean. We're talking about this because we care about these topics, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely. But there's people out there who are not into that, and that's when I don't know. That's when
Do you
I
think
feel
they don't know how they're being brainwashed?
I have
Listen,
met these
we should
people
also
who just
realize that not everyone's raised by movies. So the way movies were back in the old days, even when we were young, movies are not all the rage anymore unless it's a superhero film or something, or maybe you're watching TV shows.
guess.
I mean, that's
on
not what Netflix subscription says.
yeah.
No, or if you're watching Netflix, I mean,
I understand what you're saying because
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
you can look at books.
So
and, well, we have a
so
totally
like,
different.
what is the metric right now where I can see a reflection of who I am? Is it movies anymore, or is it video games? I don't know. I don't know how characters are in video games. Female characters.
I mean,
Should be pretty strong. I
There's whole
guess.
studies on
we
that.
can focus on movies though. You're saying in this whole entertainment construct that we live in, wherever you get your entertainment and wherever you
If
have
we
been
have
years-
entertainment, then look at can we maybe we can include musicians as well?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So you
go
have
ahead.
a lot of fans like who go gaga over gaga. What do you call them? Little monsters?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even people who look up to the Kardashian sisters. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
sure.
It's all
So,
part of culture.
I might think that's
Yeah.
dumb, but if they feel empowered, I guess good for you.
emancipated by being who you are and having
Yeah.
a body as you want it. Like,
Yeah.
there's people who actually find that, but I mean, you can't judge them, but also
And then
you can.
the brainwashing thing. Is it really real though, what I'm seeing? It's just all constructed.
I was asking Bibi if she thinks
What?
for those people who don't realize that they might be being brainwashed or that their images of themselves are being controlled by what they're consuming media-wise. You know what I mean? Like, to a certain extent, I agree with you, but also I would say, like, to a lot of people who are thinking that, why isn't there all these movies about me, or why aren't all these movies, you know, it sucks, but
Yeah.
Can you give some recent examples?
Yeah, I couldn't.
No.
I'm just talking about people taking control of
I guess
their own lives.
There's enough people who don't realize that, but I'm not saying necessarily they're living a miserable life. I'm just saying they just see it as entertainment, so they just don't internalize that as, wow, this is actually super deep if you think about it, that for the past 40 movies I've watched, I've only watched one movie where I look like the main character.
I'll tell you,
I'm talking about the psychological impacts of that, which I'm very interested in, and I really believe that there is something that happens to people who watch during their childhood, teenage years, entire life movies where they are not represented. But there's a big chunk of society where people are just watching a movie for the sake of entertainment, which is fine because movies are made for that. But I'm just saying it's also important, if you're making those movies, then make sure that it's also something.
No, that's not a rule.
And I think this is where I think they're making the movies to make money. Yeah. And I know there's a creative side of it.
That for sure.
Hollywood in general, if I'm speaking generally, is going to follow where the money goes. So if you have people who are saying, why aren't there more of us, like whatever group they are referring themselves to, why aren't there more of us in the movies? I would tell them, don't watch movies anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find different ways to create these kind of stories that you want. So and there is no better time than now.
Yeah, that's true.
To do that with.
No, whenever someone makes a film, they're not doing this to alienate anyone. So when they make it, I'm sure
I'm not entirely sure of that.
They can relate to it, and
Propaganda.
maybe if you're writing it, maybe you're thinking of your mom or whatever. Like, there's something, even if it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, there will be certain storylines or even just a moment in a 2-hour film that speaks to you. And movies, they're a universal machine that someone will always find a way to connect to. Like, when I saw movies, I saw all these like weird ass films. Like, if I'm a kid and I'm watching Rambo.
That's just you.
If I'm watching Rambo,
I would love to see little Rafid watching Rambo.
Yeah, what can I take away from Rambo? Well, what I can take away is that my dad's out the whole day. He comes home at night. So if he's home at night and the TV's on, he's watching Rambo, and I don't understand English too well, so he'll just explain, this is what's happening now. And I'm like, oh, look at that guy like killing all these people. So now it's just fun that between me and my dad. Now if I'm watching Home Alone, so it's just a thrill of, like, I guess, a holiday and good music and a house with toys.
Yeah,
so you'll always find something in it. But if you're like conscious, like, oh, I'm not included in this, that, and the other thing, you'll always find places.
I live a miserable life because of that.
And also maybe your life is just miserable that you don't enjoy anything. So that could also be a thing.
That's what I mean. It's kind of introspective. You got to reflect on yourself.
I know. Maybe I am maybe too introspective. I have to be honest. There is a reason why I don't enjoy a lot of movies. Sometimes I just want to have like a, no-brainer. Just watching it for the fun of it. That's fine. But yes, I am very critical of the movies I watch, just because I'm just tired of watching all those movies where nobody looks like me.
Then watch more. There are like
I've
thousands of
watched a
films
lot
out
of
there.
movies.
You're not looking hard enough. Thousands of films.
Dude, he
released.
says that all the time.
Yeah.
You're not looking hard enough.
Yeah. Okay. If you would like, you can watch a movie in a foreign language, and maybe you'll find something. You just have to keep looking. There is always something out there for you.
There's enough out there.
Expecting Hollywood to do everything is kind of like a disservice to Hollywood. I mean, they don't have to do everything for you.
I know, but then what if? Okay, so it's a supply demand thing as well. But what if I want to watch that kind of movies, but nobody's making them yet? So that's what I mean. Like I'm like someone in the crowd as well. I just want a movie.
This is actually fun. So what's the kind of story, Bibi, that you would like to see?
Yeah, I don't know that from the top.
That's a tough one off the top.
Yeah.
Okay, but the last time you saw a film, where make it a recent one, where you saw a film and you felt something was missing that you couldn't connect to, like all these thoughts that you have right now, you felt those things.
Okay, you guys have to keep talking. I have to think about that one.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
good question.
Last film, what did you and I see, Brian, in the theater? Fallout, Mission
Yeah,
Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Fallout.
Loved it.
That was fantastic.
It was fantastic. Nothing in it for me, but I loved it. Just to see someone do that in that age, and the story was good, the action was good,
The same
music,
story.
same story.
Didn't care.
And
I mean,
the fighting.
yeah.
Yeah, and just thinking to myself, I guess I could do that. No, you can't.
I could definitely do that.
Yeah.
I could keep a mustache that long.
But that's also, I guess, a communal experience if you're going to a theater, watching it together.
Yeah, it's the format. That's the difference. Is like, okay, that's what Bibi's saying. She wants this format, and she wants her story in this format. I mean, didn't it used to be like a big part of like books was to put yourself in someone else's shoes?
Exactly.
Or like you wanted to take a trip. You can go anywhere in the world with the book. Like
Such a good
Yeah,
reading
that's true.
Reading Rainbow. You guys ever heard of that show? Great show. The guy would just really softly read you, talk to you as a kid. Did you hear about this book? And then they would bring like kids to share their favorite books. Be
It's
like,
the
this is
Bob
my
Ross
favorite book.
of kids' books.
Yeah, it was great. It was just a show about books, and they would say like, go on and take a ride. You can go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
this whole theme song is super good.
That's the whole point of it, yeah.
So I miss those days when you were just a good boy. You're just a captive audience member.
Yeah,
What's
but
with all
that's-
this like smarty pants shit and like looking for yourself on the screen?
Maybe Bibi's-
now we have like so many outlets that we think, why am I not
But
here?
dude, maybe Bibi's
Sometimes
saying
just go in for the ride.
it would be difficult to picture her on the ride being like she's on an alien ship sometimes. She's like,
Aren't
who
we
are all
so-
these people?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I've watched
Every
those
once in a
movies.
while.
But that's the thing. Look, I am very introspective, okay? I keep track of how I change as a person. So I've watched those movies for my entire life.
Yeah.
It's only been a few years recently in my, I'm in my late 20s. So like recently that I've started to really realize what that has done and how my character now is shifting because I'm more critical of what I'm watching and how what I used to watch has actually impacted me on a confidence level in society. And that's what I'm trying to say. I used to watch, that's what I say, like little Bibi had a problem with that. Now I'm
okay.
an adult. I can do whatever I want. If
Gotcha.
I want a no-brainer, then I watch a no-brainer.
So you're thinking of the other little
Yes,
Bibis.
when you are in that stage where you have to find yourself, it's more important to find someone who looks like you. Like having a role model.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Superwoman is now a role model or something, but just constantly seeing someone like that.
Yeah, but you also don't
is
want to see
damaging.
too much of yourself.
Nah, this is where
No, actually,
That's-
you mentioned
all the
this.
little
Too much of
Bibi-
anything is not good.
Yeah.
You mentioned at the start. I mean, you remember you mentioned something about Ted Bundy.
yeah.
So in his last, just I think hours before his execution, maybe the day before he had his last interview, and that he was saying, I guess he was blaming, I don't know, but he was mentioning I was raised on all these like slasher films, and I would all see these things like all these like violent pornographic things, and that's the reason why I act out and I do the things I do. Now that's a very extreme thing to say, but you don't want to like be too influenced by things, but I think you have to be measured in that you should have several outlets in your life. You should read books, you have friends, you
That was
you
a
have
weird
music.
that was a weird connection, I'm not gonna lie. So wait, what I have to ask again.
So you
I see his point. He's saying just if you only watch slasher movies, then okay. So he
That's not true. Ted Bundy was a psychopath.
Yeah,
Like,
so
that's not actually why
so
he did it.
probably
No,
he
that's
was
what I
blaming.
said. That's what he said. I'm not saying that he's blaming them. That's what he said in the interview.
I think is the point you're trying to make
Is
that
that
you
peop-
should just make sure you watch diverse material.
That's just
In
on
general?
you. Yeah, it's up to
Yes.
you to like
But that's what I'm trying to
For
say.
me, I mean, I wouldn't go out as much, but I would probably watch more than 1,000 films a year. So sometimes it'd be like 3 or 4 films a day. So anything that I know,
Damn, dude.
anything that I know of the world or of people, is
Yeah,
just
it's
through
movies.
movies, like behavior and how to behave and how
But
to
you
talk
watch
to people and
different
everything.
kinds of movies?
Yeah, I watch
That's
all
the
kinds of
thing.
films.
That's the thing.
So which is why when some people complain like, oh, there's not enough movies about this or that, I feel like just go to
Yeah.
IMDb, just go to Google,
Dude,
you'll
you
be
s-
surprised.
Yeah,
you
nowadays
just
you
have
can
to.
say that.
Nowadays,
You just have to want to
yes.
look.
yes.
Yeah, but
now-
before the people couldn't look.
Before what? You
Ted
guys had what,
Bundy-
like Blockbuster, I guess, in your country?
No, I just mean in the 90s.
Just go to a store, find something.
Depending on this is where the whole socioeconomic stuff comes into play. Is like or where you
Yes,
live, your
yes.
environment depends on where kind of content you were
Yeah,
going
well,
to
where
get.
I'm from, the walls falling off in the theaters, but I still found a way to watch films.
But
there is really no excuse if you're born after the
I think there's some solid
1960s.
excuses for not having enough money to go
Yeah.
find the best, most content, or they have to work all day and don't have time to watch 3 movies a day.
It's like saying, I want to get in shape, but I'm so tired. No, you can find 10 minutes to do a push-up. It's like that. You can find a
That's
slot
not.
in your
No,
week.
that's
I agree
not.
with you in some extent with that. But
You know what? It's fine. I'm like a hard ass with films because I really care
I
about
know,
that.
I know you are.
nobody's so,
So I just
obsessed
feel
with
like-
movies like you
Yeah.
are. That's like a completely.
this is the first time you've been fact checking on your phone
Yes.
Yeah,
thoroughly.
Yeah, because I
This
care about
matters,
these
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's your field where you have passion for. So yeah, obviously you're gonna have a different kind of intake on how movies work. You even probably look at it differently. Like,
Yeah.
that's my point. Like, but if there's a main outlet which is only which is accessible for people and it's easier to reach those kind of movies, you can't just say to everyone, well, you should work harder to find those niche movies where you are represented.
It's just if you want the best, if you do want to have the best opportunity,
Yes.
what Rafid says
Yeah.
is correct. And that's where you have no excuses.
Or just
Yeah.
find the Rafids in your life. Because my friend would ask me, I'm looking for something. And I'll give them a list of 30 films and in which order to see because I can gauge their emotion. So I'll do that for you. So find a Rafid
He
in
has
your
done
life.
that
That's
for
a
me.
tailor-made
and,
movie
and I'll
list.
take care
I
of
said
this.
Korean crime /
You can-
thriller movies, and Rafid gave me a list of
He disliked
15.
one, but I'm just
Yeah.
glad he watched them.
Rafid coming through with the movie.
He is a walking encyclopedia.
Okay, I need to maybe try that this summer then.
Yeah. A lot
Say
of good
This
stuff.
summer.
Weird.
Though that's the way I
mashup of-
see it. I have a bad day at
Rafid
home.
brings you.
I have a bad day at work or whatever outside, and it's like a funny thought when I go home. It's like, oh, in 3 hours or 2 hours, I'll be instantly happy. I can't explain it. It's just going to happen. I'll just play a movie or something, and it happens. So it's like medication for me almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually waiting for the movie Rafid thinks up for Göttingen.
Yeah. I'm super intrigued.
It's so weird.
I've
Can't
actually
wait.
been waiting. I know it's kind
It's
of
so weird because
out
I
of
know
nowhere.
so little about this place.
But just like the pic, and it's always weird because I picture you in it.
No, never.
I know you wouldn't be,
Oh, you-
but I still picture it. This whole
I would
story.
hope he'd be in there.
No, but the only movie reference that I think I make about this place, and this is usually when him and I are hanging out, and I usually call this place, it's the Truman Show. There's something
Sometimes,
off
yeah.
about this place.
Really?
People feel like,
when we're walking around.
Yeah, either everyone
at the
just
middle
goes
of the
home.
night.
Yeah, no one's on the streets when him and we go to a different small
Oh yeah,
town
we'll
or
go to
something.
some small towns.
Everyone just home.
Recently,
Why?
we went to Valkenried.
Yeah.
Valkenride.
Yeah, that's where Christopher Walken's from. You should look that up.
Or someone in his family's from there.
Yeah.
We showed up. It was like 11 in the morning
Yeah.
on a Tuesday.
Yeah, a kid got out of school to go home.
We looked around this town. We saw 3 people on our way to this like
Yeah.
local old like ruins of a huge cathedral. And there was 4 people working the desk inside. We went out. All the town
It's a
lights
little
were
too
off.
get out-ish, okay? There's that vibe.
We were just confused. Just
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
I have experienced that too in small
Yeah.
German towns. I think it's just this thing about German towns.
So you're saying you'd make the Truman Show of Göttingen? Like a student who shows up to all their lectures and there's no one there?
Truman Show in that
Awesome.
Truman's a lot
Or
smarter.
Hey, it's easy
like-
to shoot.
Yeah, you're just
It's
trying to
They have the
like,
same professor for each class. Yeah.
Yeah. And they do seem the same. It's just that it's hard to like tell if someone's doing a performance or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
To be honest, I see that.
You get
as
that
well.
feeling a little bit, not always, but sometimes you do.
So I have this performance thing where I wonder if people are performing, because I used to do that a lot, like with friends, like always think I had to put on a performance for them, like with the jokes and stuff. And I was telling Rafid the other day at this, we went to like a German club or like a party, and I was dancing, and all of a sudden I looked around and like all the Germans were doing the same dance. It's like a nice like, swivel, like, and they're all doing the same
totally
dance.
see Germans
And
do
it
that.
definitely felt a little Truman Show. There is a verb for how this feeling is, to feel like you're in the Truman Show.
Really?
They made a condition about it.
Oh
because
boy, I need that.
God,
too.
we have a
it
condition.
was
right
before.
now.
It was before the Truman Show
Very
came out.
sick.
But there was people who
Yeah.
it's closely related to like how schizophrenia can lead to feelings that you're being like wiretapped.
Oh, boy.
I'm telling you, dude, it's a tap water.
You're on,
here,
yeah,
right?
but yeah, and I literally looked around, was like, everyone's doing the same dance. Like there was no like improvisation. There was no one like breakdancing or anything. It was just.
But have you been in enough places like this where the music is different and the dance is the same?
I've been to a few places. Like I've seen like there was like one tango night.
Okay.
Okay.
The same dance?
No, different dance. So you're right. It wasn't the same dance. But for this, it was like the dance music or house music.
Yeah.
It's not really the style of the dance or the way they walk. It's the dead spirit inside their
It's the
bodies.
dead spirit and the way you look around at everyone. Like,
I think I have to disappoint you. It's just a German thing.
I think it might. Yeah.
It's like
Well, I'm not ready to put a culture on it, but I guess
it's just a German thing.
Okay.
They're known for it.
Central German thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's places in Berlin.
Oh yeah, I've heard
and-
Berlin is a bit different. I
You
heard
haven't-
the east.
Have you
the
been to
east
Berlin?
South? No, I haven't yet.
Man,
we should go places.
I don't think we can.
Wait,
any
we're
of us
doing
have the
Amsterdam
authority
already.
until
We
we've
are going
been
to
there.
Amsterdam. This is a very nice segment.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The caramels are going global. That is Dutch music, and we all know that.
What's that? Thanks, man.
Yeah.
BB, you confirm?
There's, I think
That's
so.
the national anthem, Brian. She knows that.
I think so. Is that
Yeah.
Vengabos?
No, that was that was the.
I think that was
I don't want to
Dutch.
sing it because
I
of
think
music
so.
rights. I don't think. I think it's a
Maybe.
techno song originally, but it's actually the theme from closely related to Six Flags, Great Flags America.
Wow. Never been there.
It's a roller
We
coaster.
used to have Six Flags,
Man.
but it's a theme park, right?
Yeah.
So it was called Walibi
Ah.
when I was small, and then later they renamed it. I think it's a different company who took over. It was Six Flags, and then eventually it's now down to Walibi again.
Promoted
And
and
our
demoted all in the same
the
system.
mascot is a kangaroo.
Oh, we
A
just
Dutch
had-
mascot is a kangaroo?
Or no, not a Dutch. It's
I don't
of
see
the
anything
theme
wrong with
park,
that.
the Dutch theme park,
okay.
Walibi. It's
Of course.
its mascot. Is
Are we
a
doing
kangaroo.
that when we go to
No,
Netherlands?
it's alright.
Man,
it's
this
not
is gonna
that-
be a fun trip.
Yeah.
We're going to the Hollands, right?
We have like
the Hollands.
less than 2 weeks, so like
Netherlands.
12
So
days.
you use
Oh boy, yes.
Yeah, it's
12 days.
You know, in my head, I kind of blocked it. I don't want to think too much about it. I know
Why?
Bibi, last time she said, do you want to see the car we're taking?
I already told
I was
her.
like, no, just, I want to feel like, and this is the same when I was
You
with
want to
him.
feel
and we
like
were
you're getting kidnapped?
No, when we were booking the tickets, it was like, Brian, just do it fast, and then I can live
was
with
telling
the,
her this,
yeah,
yeah.
then I can live with the regret and the anxiety because that's my natural state, and I can hate everyone. I just need that. So when
Rafid was so willing to just back out of the whole situation, and within an hour he had gone from this is going to be so exciting to oh my god, no, this isn't going to happen. This is
I
way
have
too
to- I
much
have to
money.
sell a few
I
cows
can't-
back home for
yeah,
this.
He literally made that joke 3 times, and I pity laughed every time, saying, "Bibi will respond. Don't worry." And then it ended with woohoo excitement. So
Wow. Talking about roller coasters.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! No, yeah. No
I was talking
seatbelts,
to
no.
a work friend
No
yesterday,
seatbelts.
and he
No
recommended that
seatbelts.
we check out Rotterdam.
Yeah.
He said, like, all the streets, it's a world of its own.
Oh, you asked a friend?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So,
Yeah, Rotterdam.
We're
it
doing
is.
Rotterdam if we can.
We
maybe.
hadn't
I think
chose
it was
between The Hague and
The
Rotterdam,
Hague and
or even
Rotterdam.
both.
Yeah, even both. The Hague and Rotterdam aren't that far from each other.
So
Originally, because I know we changed plans because of us, did you have a place for us to visit by the beach?
Yes.
What's the name of the
The
place?
Hague.
No.
Yeah,
no.
so so you go
It's
to
The
the
Hague?
city The Hague, and
Okay.
from there you go to Scheveningen.
Stay
West.
Okay.
Scheveningen. You can get a tram,
And
and
you
it's like
also-
the coast.
Scheveningen to the
Scheveningen.
sea.
It's
actually the same word.
It's one of those funny words Dutch people try to make foreigners to pronounce
Those
because it's like.
bastards.
Few
Sorry,
wings.
there's a loose animal in the studio. Oh my god, it's bit my leg.
So we're not going there.
Scheveningen, yeah. I thought you wanted to see the beach side.
I would love to be. It's just that I don't know what the whole plan is. I know
I'll
it's my
show
fault
you
because I
on
don't
the
want to know
map,
what the
and
plan
you
is.
can do Rotterdam and The Hague
Okay.
on the same day if you want to.
Okay.
Definitely.
Rafid and I, for those listeners wondering, have never been to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
No.
This is a first.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to getting kidnapped by the folks who run the red light district because I think they need some male bodies there. No? Feel like they could use some.
Rafid, you can just apply through internet.
I don't think I need to repeat it, but I will. This is his first time.
Is there a form that
also have you been outside of, is this the third country ever?
Yeah. No, this would be second.
Second.
Yeah.
What's the first?
This is your second European country.
What's the first?
So you've been to Bangladesh?
Yeah, because I'm not from there. No.
Bangladesh, Germany.
You've been to Bangladesh?
Haven't you crossed the border?
Listen, the first one was Rosina's uterus. That's my mom's name.
Boo.
And then was Bangladesh. Then we have Deutschland.
Funny, same passport worked both.
That's what Google Maps said. Like, so I'm just here.
Yeah, Netherlands. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'm already thinking about what the next one should be. I want to go up north because
I also want to check out Denmark. It's so close.
Yeah, Denmark.
We get to Hamburg and it's
just like walk.
Free, yeah.
Apparently it's like 5 days, so it won't take that.
Well, it depends where in
walking.
Denmark. Copenhagen is like a bit more into Denmark.
True. Can you get to Copenhagen from Hamburg on land?
I think you mean like...
I don't know if you can. I know you can get into Denmark, but I don't know.
It's like it's all fragmented with little islands, so you have to go through a few to get to Copenhagen.
Okay.
I think, but you can to say you've been to Denmark. You can just drive into Denmark and
Good call.
be there.
Yeah. No. We want to see the Denmark, so we would go.
Yeah, I think Copenhagen.
Inland.
I've been to Copenhagen. Copenhagen is really nice, actually.
Is it? Okay.
It is as clean as they say it is. It's super.
You're the first person to tell me.
But will we also get
super.
the Truman Show vibe over there?
No, I've heard. No, Danish are super.
I think it's
sweet.
our own condition.
No,
at this point.
Danish are super.
Yeah, I think we
sweet.
just diagnose ourselves in this episode. Yeah, that should be a highlight of this episode.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. At the end, we're just crying.
Hey, it's a good session. That's a good.
It is a good session.
Yeah.
Therapist session if I've ever seen one.
I think that's a good way to end the episode.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for listening, those of you out there.
Yeah,
we discussed a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Movies, role of women, like we know shit. And then...
Yeah, as always, we apologize.
Yeah, like we don't know.
Really sorry for this episode.
Yeah.
We're going to keep apologizing till
till
all
our
fits
last
together.
episode.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
we are insert background here washing everything. So just, you should appreciate the effort we put into thought. And yeah. Because
I don't think you need to appreciate shit.
No, just...
No. See, we don't want to be canceled, so we would like people to just like us.
Just like our listeners, we appreciate the appreciation in thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you went
that's
meta.
more of our... yeah, that's a little meta.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. But guys, killer whales. Have you heard about the news? Yeah, the way they're mating and stuff.
Hallo liebe Hörer, ihr habt gerade unsere 4. Podcast-Folge zu Thema die Ferien, Film und Repräsentieren und finden Sie, das Gleichgewicht, um die Filme zu genießen gehört. Bis zum nächsten Mal, eure Caramels.